Thank you very much. Everybody having fun? I saw some people at the bar last night. They looked like they were having some fun, right? I want to thank our great staff for putting this event together. I want to thank, most importantly, Ashley Alvarado for her leadership as the Women's Committee Coordinator. I want to thank Cara Dennis, Julie Brady for their tireless work. I want to thank also everybody for being here today. This is a great showing. So Fred and I have been in office for 182 days today, but who's counting, right? Who's counting? And it's been a great 182 days. It's been great fighting corporate America. It's been great holding crooked politicians accountable. But most importantly, it's been great to serve our 1.2 million members militant and with vigilance. I have the best partner, which I get to go to work with him every single day. He's been a friend. He's been a mentor. But most importantly, he has been the guiding light when I have struggles and have to make tough decisions. There's one person I can always count on, and that's our General Secretary Treasurer, Fred Zuckerman. I want to thank our Joint Council host and our Western Region Vice President, Rick Hicks, for his hospitality. But look, this isn't about anybody but the rank and file women in the Teamsters Union this week. Now, when we talk about our General Executive Board, and we have embraced diversity, and we're going to continue to work on diversity, we're going to make sure that we empower women constantly. And look, we have three of the strongest women on this stage right here. You look at Ashley Alvarado. She is the epitome of the American dream. She was brought up by immigrant parents who worked in the fields, hard work. When they became Teamsters, her life changed for the better, lived the American dream where her mom and dad could go to work every day, being from Mexico, not having a lot of opportunity to come in here, joining the Teamsters Union, and provide an opportunity, buying a house, holding a middle-class job down. That's what the Teamsters is all about, and that's why Ashley has dedicated her entire life, former principal officer of a Teamster local. She came up through the ranks, fought the fight, and she now is one of the strongest Teamster leaders in the country. Thank you. The next person is one of my fan favorites. I watched her organize a municipality just outside of Boston. I watched her become a steward. I watched her fight tirelessly for her co-workers and negotiate the strongest contracts at Local 25. And when we were forming the slate to take back our union, there was no question that one of the first-round draft picks was Joan Corey out of Local 25. The one thing that we've been focused on as an administration is looking back at our history to guide us into the future. And the next person that I think everybody knows, who I'm going to pay tribute to, is going to be the future of the Teamsters Union. She is a tireless worker, like myself. She has generational connections to the union, and I'm proud to say I'm a fourth-generation Teamster, and this person's a second-generation Teamster, has led the fight in the motion picture industry, has organized the unorganized, and she is the best swearer we have on the General Executive Board. And there's no doubt she is going to do tremendous things for this international union, and she already has, But I will say again, she is going to be the future of the Teamsters Union. That's Lindsay Doherty, our Western Region Vice President. So, I have the fortune to work with the strongest Teamster women in the country, but I've been blessed to be brought up by the strongest woman that I know, and that's my mother. And when you talk about what we do every single day, when we fight, when we take on the boss, when we look adversity in the face and find a way to overcome it, that's how I was brought up. I was brought up by the strongest woman in my world. She was raised in a housing project with a single mother, raising her 3 younger brothers, making certain that she would go to the church around Christmas to ensure that she got Christmas presents to put under those trees. So she delivered. She never complained, and she always made someone's day happy. And a lot of times I've been through some crisis, a lot of times self-inflicted, right? But the one thing that I always knew, that regardless of how tough things got and how much adversity we faced, or I faced, I knew there was one person that I could always count on, right, wrong, or indifferent, and that is a strong woman. That is my mother. So I'll tell you a story. I try and keep my personal life somewhat private. Very difficult these days. But I'll tell you a story. 10 years ago, I had to bury my best friend. I called him Dad. I had to give him his eulogy. 51-year Teamster in the trenches. Not an easy task. And I gave his eulogy. And I didn't shed a tear. And I was walking down the aisle of St. Francis Sissy's Church in Charlestown, Mass. And when I wanted to crumble, I put my arm out, and this little woman grabbed my arm and said, "You didn't shed a tear." I go, "I didn't." She goes, "Good boy. Never show weakness." And that's what the Teamsters Union is all about. That is what Teamsters women are going to provide for our leadership team. We are never going to show weakness. We are never going to crumble, and we are going to fight till the end. So 182 days. 182 days. We've got a lot accomplished. When we took over this union, there was a number. And the one thing we have vowed to do as a leadership team is to be transparent and honest about this union. We took over in March. We thought we had 1.4 million members. That was the rhetoric going back 22 years. Now think about these numbers. 1.4 million, 1999. We had 3 major mergers with international unions, BLET, BMWE, and GCIU. 200,000 members. So that should be about 1.6 million. We had 100% growth from our largest employer, which is United Parcel Service. So we should be up around 1.75 million members. But the reality is, when we took over, we had 1.2 million members. So that signaled to us as a leadership team what we needed to do and what we need to do moving forward. And that is organize new members throughout this country and in Canada. And we have vowed and pledged to make sure that we go out every single day and organize new members. We want to be the biggest, we want to be the fastest, and we want to be the strongest Teamsters Union in the entire world. And we can't do it without 1,200 strong women like yourselves. The other thing we had to do, we took a look at who we actually work for, and that is the rank and file members. And we wanted to make sure that we created an institution, an organization that is going to be bigger, faster, stronger, that is going to provide services. So we've condensed a lot of the departments within the IBT because, you know, you'll often hear me say the power of collaboration to actually effectuate change is a must in this organization. And if we're going to preach that out on the streets and we're going to preach that in the workplaces, we need to practice it in the international. So we've combined communications, strategic research, contract campaigns into one group so that we can be user-friendly, but most important, effective when it comes to serving our most important people, and that is our rank and file members that we have the privilege and honor to serve every day. So we've done some great things in that building, but we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of work to do. One thing that we were committed to is having a vision, not division. And I'm proud to stand here at this women's conference, not like the last one, and tell you the election is over. One vision, one direction, one mission. We have got to define who our common enemy is. Our common enemy is not in this room. It's not in the workplace with our rank and file members. It's these white-collar crime syndicates known as corporate America. It's these crooked politicians who take money from big business, and they don't care about the working class in America. They don't care how much we have all sacrificed over the last 2 years when we went through the most trying times in our history, where we provided goods and services in every single Teamster industry, how fast these white-collar criminals known as corporate America, these politicians, forget that the Teamsters Union provided goods and services and made certain that everybody was afforded those goods and services, and we're going to keep reminding them every single day. We have a couple of big fights on the horizon, right? And I think you know that we have a motto, our administration would rather ask for forgiveness than permission. And I think many of you practice that same discipline. But we got some fights coming up. Our most formidable opponent is coming up and expires July 31 of 2023. You might have heard of this company. It's called United Parcel Service, right? Another white-collar crime syndicate that we have the pleasure or displeasure of fighting with every single day. But this is going to be our defining moment within the Teamsters. And you've seen, I think we've been pretty transparent and public about what we've accomplished in other industries like DHL, like car haul, our core industries. We got freight contracts coming up where we have to set the tone. But this UPS agreement is going to be the most important fight that we have. And we're going to run that fight concurrently with our mission, parallel to organize Amazon. And if we are not negotiating the strongest contracts in every single industry that we represent, we are not going to be able to successfully organize the unorganized. When we take that UPS agreement where we're going to get rid of 22/4s, where we're going to fight for part-time wages to start at $20 an hour and above, where we are going to make certain that our feeder work is protected, and all the other bells and whistles, make certain that technology is not going to hold us hostage every single day we do our job. We are going to take that contract, and we're going to show the Amazon workers what you get when you join the greatest organization in the world. That's the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Now look, this is not a fight that we can win alone. This is a fight, even though if you don't work at United Parcel Service or Amazon or anywhere else, the fight today might be your fight tomorrow. So when we are out there fighting, even though it may not affect you right away, we have to engage in that fight because collectively, 1.2 million strong, 1,200 deep here right now. If we are going to get the strongest contracts, we're going to organize Amazon, we need everybody engaged in the fight. Now, tomorrow, I'm not sure anybody's aware of this, but tomorrow we're going to make our presence known. And, you know, the reality of it is, you know, coming from Boston, where's Local 25? Let me give a shout out to my home local. You know, we've been in a few fights, right? This isn't a birth defect. We earned it, right? So the one thing that we have to do, whenever you're going to fight an opponent, and we're good at it, is state your intentions, right? State your intentions. What are you going to do? How are you going to come at me? Well, we're coming after Amazon. We're coming hard. We're coming hard tomorrow, 1,200 deep, when we walk to an Amazon facility and we protest and demonstrate on how strong and how tough the Teamsters Union are. So look, in closing, I want to thank everybody for coming. I'll be honest with you, it's been such a great, inspirational couple of days, just walking through, talking to our strongest women in the entire country. There seems to be a sense of solidarity. We've defined that common enemy today. That's corporate America. Those are crooked politicians and anybody that tries to do harm to this organization. And I'll always say this. If you want to fight with the Teamsters Union, put your helmets on, buckle your chin straps. It's a full contact sport. And in closing, I want to say this about the Teamster women. You were born to run, and you don't belong to anyone. Thank you very much.